What's up, peeps? Nick Battle, aka Nino's Corner. What's good, man? First off, guys, if you like what's listening to, go press that like, give me a 5-star review, comment, all that for the episode, man, or for the podcast in general, man. Everything that you guys been doing, listening, and getting a bunch of viewers a month, a bunch of viewers every episode. Thank you for the content and the comments and just keeping it alive and getting more sponsors. Appreciate it. But talking about sponsors, I want to give a shout out to a podcast that I've been listening to for a couple days now. It's called What Is He Thinking? Is spelled I-Z, not I-S. What Is He Thinking? It's by my boy Alexander Stevens, man. It's a great podcast, about a half an hour long. Some of them are a little bit longer because the topics are really good and juicy, man. But it's a podcast from a guy telling women what guys are thinking when it comes to relationships and things like that. And it's pretty clever, man. You guys gotta go listen to it, man. What is he thinking? You can get it on any podcast stream, anything, guys. So yeah, I might even start maybe come and team up with him on a podcast episode or something like that, so that we can get just him in the podcast game a little bit deep. But he is very talented, very, very great podcast episode. But guys, today, what are we gonna talk about, man? I know everybody's talking about what happened on Tuesday. I know you guys are gonna hear this on Friday morning, but we're gonna talk about what happened Tuesday, the debates. And I put on the Nino's Corner Facebook page. I put on the Facebook page, hey, put this on Wednesday night. I said, one night is sleeping on these debates. What were your thoughts? Leave comments below and I will comment on those on my next podcast. So I'm going to comment on the debates right now. And if you guys can see me on YouTube, I'm going to stroll over to my screen. You guys won't be able to see the screen. However, what you will be able to see is me reading off the screen some of the comments that were given about the debates. Man, okay. So one of a good friend of mine, we actually grew up together in Shreveport, Louisiana. My dude, he said he turned it on for 5 minutes, and he said that he did not believe that them, meaning Biden and Trump, debating will have much impact on anyone's actual vote unless it drives people to vote third party. I just don't see many people, if any, switching between those two. I kind of agree with that, and then I kind of disagree with that. I kind of agree with that for the simple fact that in 2016, you had your people who were going to vote for Trump regardless, right? And not only did you have your people that were going to vote for Trump, you had people that were just not going to vote for Hillary. So Trump cleaned up a lot of those votes for people who just they hated Hillary. They didn't want her in office. So Trump got the votes. He got those votes for people who just didn't like her. And not that he got the majority of the vote, but he got enough of the votes in the certain districts that he needed to win over the electoral college and get those votes to win the president. So I think it's going to turn in this election, because you got people now. I mean, I don't know this for sure, but just from just after the debate and hearing some chitter chatter over the last couple of days and seeing different polls, which I don't really believe in all the polls too much, because the polls said that Hillary was going to win by a landslide in 2016. They were wrong. But I wouldn't say a landslide, but they said that she was going to win, and they were completely off. Actually, it's the other way around. But I will say that a lot of people who maybe initially voted for Trump in 2016 don't know if they're going to vote for him, and some people just don't want to vote for him at all, and so they're voting for the opposite of him. I don't care what your political views are. This is a nonpartisan show, so I don't give a damn who you vote for. But I think a lot of the voters that voted for him in 2016, I wouldn't say a lot, but some are going to vote the opposite party just to not vote for him. Some people just don't want Trump in office anymore, and I totally understand it and I totally get it. So I think it's going to be a reversal of what happened in 2016. So that's my take on it. It's going to be interesting to see. I saw an interesting stat where it's like a 50-50 toss-up in South Carolina from like just the polls and things of that nature. And I'm thinking South Carolina is usually like a red state, all the way red. It's never 50-50. It's never, I mean, even you can take the most, I guess, liberal people in South Carolina and ask them, 1,000 people and get the most liberal people, and you're never get a 50-50 vote. It's always going to be like 60-40, or it's always going to be like 70-30 for the Republican side of the house for the GOP. And some of these early polls are showing that it's like 50-50 in South Carolina, which is like, wow, like, oh, that's something. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here on November 3rd. I turned in my absentee ballot. You guys know I do absentee ballot. I don't live in Texas, but I'm a Texas resident due to my military affiliation. So I turned in my absentee ballot yesterday, immediately after the debates. And so, yeah, take what you want to take for. All right. Another one of my friends, really good friend of mine. I'm not going to read her comment. It's I can't read that one, but it's funny. Yeah. Another one of my friends, she put a comment basically saying that she was incredibly troubled with the stand down and stand by comments when the president was asked to denounce white supremacy. And I've seen a lot of that, and I've heard a lot of that. And as a black person, I am a little bit troubled about that too. But yeah, the stand back and stand by, I mean, those are terms used at a gun range. I mean, stand back, stand by. I mean, stand back and stand by means get ready. You know, I mean, it means get ready and wait till I call. So, you know, pretty, I don't know how to, I don't even want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. I don't. But those are some very strong comments from the president. And I am not in favor of those comments. And so, wow. Next, another friend of mine, she's a teacher, and she basically stated that she watched it 5 times. Oh, a lot of teachers usually tell their students to go and watch the debates. And how troubling would it be to tell your middle school student to go and watch a debate? When that happened last night, it was not a presidential showing from any side of the house on that Tuesday. I did feel like Joe Biden was trying to stay on the politics because this is what it's about. It's about telling your policies and things of that nature. It's about showing America what you're going to do to either enhance America and on fixing it, or enhance the good things that are there and fix the things that are broken. And that was not what was done on that Tuesday night. Christopher Wallace, poor Christopher Wallace. I feel so bad for him because he tried, but he couldn't keep everybody in line just for the simple fact that, for one thing, the president talked over him 24/7. It was what it was. And I just felt like he couldn't get control of it because I felt like he got bullied while he was on the stage. So, I don't know anybody who could have done a better job. I mean, I can say better. Better's the wrong word. Take that back. I don't know anybody who could have done a great job at that, unless it's Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson would have got that done right. But just think about that for a minute. Think about if you're a school teacher, and a lot of school teachers, please chime in, leave me some comments. If you're a school teacher, how do you handle that when it comes to these debates? You're trying to teach your children, your students about the debates. You're trying to teach them about what politics is. And sometimes a lot of kids don't understand and get the full grasp of politics in their own household because a lot of some parents just don't really listen to it like that. Sometimes the first time you're going to hear about that is when you're in the classroom and you're around people who this is their job, to teach you, civics and teach you politics and teach you the social sciences and teach you just government and history. You're going to get an assignment maybe to look at the debates and do pros and cons from each candidate. Like, what is a kid going to infer about what happened on Tuesday? It's a sad state in America because that was not what I want my kid to watch. My kid's 5 years old. I'm 37. My kid's 5. So, my wife and I watch the news all the time. I mean, like, it's on all day. But I had to find myself when my kid comes home from school, I have to literally turn the news station off because it's so many foul things going on in America. We got with the George Floyd. I don't want my 5-year-old's mind to be warped by what is out there at that moment. I don't want him to see that. He's a black kid. I don't want him to see that that's how he thinks black people should be treated. So it is, you got the George Floyd incident, you got the Breonna Taylor incident, and sometimes they show the graphic scenes of this, and I don't want my kid to see a guy dying, basically being murdered on the concrete, yelling at I can't breathe and screaming for his mother. Like, he would understand what it's like to scream for his mother because he, sometimes he wakes up in the middle of the night and who's he call for? He don't call for daddy, he calls for mommy, so it's very touching. very, very, very touching. So I don't want my kid to see that. So it's hard to shelter your kids from things like that because literally as a black man, they're going to see those things anyway as they get older. So how soon do you subject your children, especially your black boys, to that stuff? Because it could easily be them any time of the day. But yeah, that's just a thing that you have to deal with when you it's the thing you have to do it basically when you're raising a minority in America. But getting back to the debates. Okay, guys, you see me on YouTube, you see I'm looking at my screen. I'm looking at my other screen because these are where all the comments are, right? I'm not like neglecting you guys. So, all right, looking at my screen here, guys, other comments that were said. My mom even chimed in. My mom, guys, she's like that woman. You know what I'm saying? She is yeah, hold on, let me see. My mom said, son, you know my thoughts. Our president is going to be who he's always been. I didn't watch 1 minute of it because I knew it was going to tick me off. And she didn't say tick me off. She said something else. Watching him rant and rave. And then she says, women. So she actually does a call to women on my post. She goes, women, I know you would not accept this from your children. So why would we accept this from someone who's leading our nation? Those are some strong words, man. My mom does not hold back words. That's from one of the comments from one of the, the listeners of my show, who's my mother. So she listens to every show. But yeah, women, I know you would not accept this from children, which is true. Like, what happened on that stage on Tuesday night? You're a parent. If you're a parent, would you accept your child? I mean, would you be totally comfortable with your child doing what happened on that stage? I mean, just answer the question. I mean, just think about it and ask the question. Would you be totally acceptable with what went down in that stage on Tuesday night? I know I wouldn't. If my kid, yeah, he would be in deep. You get what I'm saying? Deep doo-doo. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. So yeah, I mean, I would not feel comfortable with my child. I would not feel comfortable with my sister, my brother. And I look at them as like my little kids because I'm 14 years older than my brother, 12 years older than my sister. So I'm like this, I'm like my sibling's second father. They come to me with advice. They come to me to ask for how to do things. They come to me for a bunch of stuff. I'm the one who like mentors them on the school and the majors they should take. My sister, by the way, is graduating in the fall. I mean, in the spring with an MBA. Go ahead, sis. Whoop, whoop. My brother's graduating in the spring with his bachelor's in IT. Whoop, whoop. So, yeah, I mean, they always come to me for advice and things of that nature. So if they were to ever act like that, like I would lose it. I would flip my mind because I know that they weren't raised like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know how to take it. I mean, this is what it is. This is like one of the weirdest situations that we have going on here. And so, it is what it is. People are going to be people. You can't get mad at how people act. Some people act certain ways, some people don't. But you just gotta, if you don't like it, you gotta just vote. Like what did Obama say when he was, like campaigning for Hillary? Don't boo, vote. So true. Don't boo, vote. Don't get mad, vote, man. Don't stand back and stand by. Go vote. Go vote. So we don't like some of the rhetoric that has been, dished out from either side. Then we, as American citizens, have something that we can go do, something in our hip pocket that we can go do, and it's called vote. And it's not just, don't vote just for the president. Vote all up and down the ballot. Vote local. Vote for your senators. Vote for your school board. Like I just did my absentee ballot. I'm a Bell County resident just for the simple fact that I was born and raised. Well, not born and raised. I was born and raised in Shreveport, Louisiana. Moved to Bell County, Texas when I went to high school. Proud member of, the Ellison High School 2001 graduating class. Those green eagles, those mean eagles. Yeah, so I am a Bell County resident on paper because I commissioned out of Texas, and Bell County is my home of residence. So I went up and down that ballot and I looked at the school board members because I know how the school board and how the school system is slowly, I wouldn't say slowly changing, but it's not getting the best. It wasn't what it was. And so for Killeen and Fort Hood and Bell County to have better school districts. I know that new school board members going to be there. They had 2 school board members. I went up and down that ticket. I Google searched everybody, looked at their platforms, vote. Vote up and down the ballot, guys. Just don't vote for the president, because the local elections mean a lot. They're the things that are going to impact you on a day-to-day basis, okay? And don't get me wrong, things that come from the White House, whatever candidate is in office or whatever president is in office, it's going to impact you too if things spew out of control. And so, we can debate that later, but vote up and down the ballot, man. Vote local. Support local businesses too. Please do. I mean, keep your community thriving. Keep it thriving. The more you keep your community thriving, the more pride that's going to be in your community. The more pride that's going to be in your community, the more willingness that people are going to take on to take care of the things in your community. Please vote local. Vote local. Vote for the senators. Vote for the president. But most importantly, vote local and support local businesses. Support the people who are there, putting the ground in day to day in that city, boots on the ground, feet on the ground, pillars of the community, residents, all that good stuff, man. All right, let's go back to another comment. I had a little rant and spill. Another one of my friends I used to work with, she said that she hated all the interrupting, and the president didn't have to do it so much. I thought it was disrespectful I thought they disrespected each other too much, meaning Biden and Trump disrespected her too much. I thought Vice President Biden got away from some of his major points. I felt that Mike Wallace helped Vice President Biden on several points. So that's what one of my friends said. So, I mean, there's some truth to that. Both people were very disrespectful to each other. And it shouldn't have been like that. This is a debate, not a WrestleMania WWE match. And I do feel like Mike Wallace could have controlled the situation a little bit better. I think that he could have. But honestly, in that situation, I don't know if anybody could have controlled it. What are you guys' thoughts on this, man? What are you guys' thoughts when it comes to this? That was a pretty heated debate, man. So just let us know what were your thoughts. Leave me. And we're back, guys. All right. One more thing, man. I got one more comment that came in from my Facebook, comments for the issue. So the question was, from the debates, what did, after sleeping on it for a night or two, what are your thoughts? And so somebody had the thoughts about the question about the racism sensitivity training, and I guess how the president has said that training is racist. Hey guys, we gotta look at it. It's not racist training. This training is not only just for African Americans, it's not for Asian Americans, it's not for Hispanic Americans, it's for white Americans, it's for Caucasians, it's for everybody. It's sensitivity for everybody. You have to understand somebody and to have empathy and sympathy for somebody and to empathize with somebody. You have to be able to put yourself in their shoes, and that is what the sensitivity training is for, in my opinion. So in my opinion, I can't tell you how to live as a Asian American in America because I'm not Asian American. But if I have insights into some of your culture and things that might trouble you and things that you might feel might be like biased towards you, then let me know. Some things like you might not understand. Let's say, for instance, if you're talking to somebody who's Hispanic and they might be of Cuban descent, or they might be Puerto Rican or Mexican, but you call them the wrong Hispanic, person. You call them like the wrong title. They're not Puerto Rican, they're Mexican, or they're not Mexican, they're Honduran. Like, they can get offended just because of things that have happened in the past, in their past culture. So that's the sensitivity training. It's just like you wouldn't call, somebody who is Vietnamese, Japanese, or Chinese or Korean, because everybody's not the same. We all might look alike or have certain things that make us seem like we are more one than the other, or more the same than the other, but there's so many differences in people, and that's where the sensitivity training comes in. It's like the glue that brings it in, so you can understand what people are going through and what people have gone through in the past that maybe leads us to harbor those feelings of what has happened to them at that moment or some of their ancestors. So, man, sensitivity training when it comes to racism is absolutely necessary. It is just, if I didn't have some of the sensitivity training that I've had over my career and in my life and school and everything, there are certain things about other people's cultures I just wouldn't know. And quite frankly, I wouldn't honestly even think about it because I never would have thought about it because it never would have crossed my mind. It's good to have those conversations in an open environment where you're free from being ridiculed because you just don't know, because you're just ignorant to the things that are going on, because it's not your normal life. It's not your normal everyday life. But once you become a person who learns what something is and understands what something is, then you're no longer ignorant. You know how somebody might feel if you say something to somebody that you just never might have thought of because you're just not one of them. You didn't grow up in that situation. You didn't grow up in that community. So I'm not for canceling that training. I think it should be had. But on that note, guys, man, thank you for listening, man. Join the club. Join the podcast. Give me some likes, some 5-star reviews and comments, man. But don't be afraid to fail. Outgrow your environment. Understand your brilliance. You're brilliant. Okay. Love you guys, man. Nino's Corner. I'm out. It's late. I gotta go to bed. My kids bother me. He needs to go to bed too. He has school tomorrow. All right. Nino's Corner out. Yeah.